Last week, an incredible battle between Chad Wienen and John Natalie. Wait a minute, maybe not. Here comes Natalie with a last-ditch effort. We might have a battle for the win after all. Wienen hangs on, but today, a rematch. Hello everyone and welcome to the NBC Sports Network's continuing coverage of the 2012 AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship as part of Racer TV. This is round 5 of the 10-race series. We're just outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Ballance Motocross Park. Jason Wygant, of course, your host, and the best four-wheeled motocross pilots in the world on hand. And they're all gunning for Chad Wienen, who has won the first 3 of 4 races this year. John Natalie, your defending series champ, hoping to get his first overall victory today. His young teammate Joel Hetrick, the only rider to beat Wienen for an overall so far this year. Hetrick certainly looks calm and relaxed, hoping to get win number 2 today. Don't count out riders like Thomas Brown, a fellow Yamaha pilot along with Wienen, who's hoping that working with the Bill Ballance racing team, here's Bill Ballance on the left talking to Thomas Brown, will allow him to have a little something special today. And speaking of something special, today's race, the first ever night race in this series. And the riders really don't know what to expect. To help them out, they all had the opportunity to come out and practice at night last night to find out exactly what the light system would be like, how the course would shape up. Let's talk to Thomas Brown about racing under the lights.
Coming here to Bowling Green is going to be our first night race of the series. Well, only night race of the series, first night race ever as a national. As far as I can remember, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm seeing fans rolling like crazy. We're just ready to go put on a good show and hopefully put in 2 solid motos and be up on that box by the end of the day. It should be a great race and a great weekend. Kind of scared about the shadows and being at night. Never done that really before. Did some when I was a youth rider and when I was racing around Texas, but since I've been national, I've been kind of used to the daylight. I'm not too sure on the shadows and how dark it's going to be. Definitely be running clear lenses this weekend.
Now the advantage of the night race is here in the southeast, a little less heat and humidity, so hopefully that increases the fan count. The riders don't care, they'll ride through anything. But the riders do know that this could open the door for an upset. Here's Josh Upperman.
Racing at night, it's going to be different. It's a whole different ball game. It's going to be it's just going to be exciting and fun. Actually, a local race around my place races at night, and I've raced there quite a few times, and so I'm comfortable with it. But you go to a new track, and it's always different. So, but at least I do have a little bit of night experience.
And there is Thomas Brown, Bill Ballance on his right. Now, Ballance's family owns and operates this facility. You can see right now we're really only at dusk, but it will be very dark by the time we get into the second set of motos later today. There's Ken Hill, our photographer, getting some photographic advice from the ladies, I suppose. Have our youth riders coming out here as part of opening ceremonies. There's Smitty, one of our race directors, handling the big flag, and here is Dean Van Leeuwen handling the T-shirt cannon as the fans get fired up to make some history here. Speaking of history, John Natalie wants to add to his with an overall win today. We mentioned that Hetrick has gotten a victory, but the big focus goes on the big man there, standing up in the middle with the orange gear. There he is, Chad Wienen, points leader, but he has led the points early in the year several seasons, has never been able to nail that title down. Let's go racing. Into the first turn we go, and an upset. Craig Porter out of Texas going to grab your SSI Decals Whole Shot Award, and it looks like Wienen up to the number 2 spot, immediately challenged by Natalie. And that's the battle everyone came to see, last year's champ versus this year's points leader, with an upstart in front of them, and Natalie able to get around Wienen for second. That could loom large. Track position so big out here, and look at Natalie immediately going for the lead. He is not messing around. He wants to get Porter, and he does. And Wienen's able to do the same. And you can see the momentum these two are carrying into this race. They know exactly what to do in these opening laps. They're putting in a good hard sprint. And it's a rematch of what we saw last time out. We were racing in Illinois. And there goes Upperman around Porter for the number 3 spot. We saw Natalie and Wienen battling it out down to the final corner of our last race, but the order was reversed. Wienen wants to get the number 1 spot back. But oh man, Natalie is so hard to pass. He is a veteran. First won this championship back in 2005. Has won a couple since, including last season. Wienen broke his back last year while leading the points. Formed his own team here on the Yamahas to try to go back after Natalie. They used to be teammates on the Can-Am team. And it looks like Upperman is the man on the move. He has closed up to the rear tires of Wienen, so we might have a 3-rider duel for the lead, and Wienen goes to the inside. Thought he had the line, thought he had the pass made, but Natalie wouldn't let it happen. He darts to the inside again. Natalie riding like he has eyes in the back of his head, able to hold off the big man from Illinois. Natalie out of Pennsylvania. And there's the Ohio boy, Upperman. He might be the fastest of this group. And what he's hoping for is that these two maybe tangle up, slow each other down or take each other out, and he'll gladly slide into the number 1 spot. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by Amsoil. Welcome back to some spectacular racing here at the NBC Sports Network. It's Racer TV from Oakland, Kentucky, and a 3-rider duel for the win here in ATV Pro Motocross. John Natalie leading the way in a Can-Am. Chad Wienen is second on the Yamaha and the Honda of Josh Upperman in third, going after them, but Wienen had been using that outside line a couple of times early in this moto, is able to get the number 1 spot from Natalie, and now Natalie back around the outside. Side by side, headed over to this big double, and Natalie is going to get it back. And a nice job by Natalie to hold the inside, and look, he has another line of Wienen's covered. He knew exactly where the 44 wanted to pay him back. He would not let it happen. Natalie has been at this game a long time. He's one of the smartest riders out there, and Wienen knows he's going to have to find yet another new line to get him. Tried to make it happen on the inside, and I'll tell you, as they slow each other up, look at Upperman and now Hetrick in the number 4 spot, closing up on the leaders. We could have a 4-rider duel for the lead. And I've got to think that Natalie is going to take the line away that Wienen used the previous time around, and yes, he does. This time, Wienen not able to attack down that straightaway. And Wienen is going to have to worry about the 20 of Upperman, who is right there. He's a meat and a sandwich right now. And Natalie going to hope to use that to pull away just a bit. And that is riding with eyes in the back of your head. Somehow Natalie figured out where the fast lines are without being able to see them. And had Wienen been able to make that pass stick, you know he would have put his head down and tried to sprint away. So Natalie knew he had to respond instantly. He did that, and now Wienen has to hit the reset button. And you can see it is beginning to get a little bit darker out there. Little mistake from Natalie. Wienen able to find a different line there, but not make up much ground. Natalie trying to wheelie away right now. And it is now Hetrick up to the number 3 spot. And he is looking to challenge Wienen. Now, there is a points battle going on. It's still pretty early in the championship, but there's no doubt that every time these Can-Ams can put Wienen behind them, it would help in the series, and that's exactly what Hetrick is trying to do. And Upperman is still a factor in this one in 4th. He's right there. Hetrick to the inside. Not able to make it happen. Hetrick out of Pennsylvania. Wants to get around Wienen. He's the young gun on this tour. Can-Am has got bookends. They got the veteran champion in Natalie. They've got the young rider in Hetrick, and they want them to go 1-2 in this moto. And this is the advantage the Can-Am boys have. It is a 2-rider team with the Moto-X crew. Wienen runs his own operation there on Yamahas. Yes, Thomas Brown, who we talked to earlier, is also a Yamaha rider, but they are 2 different teams, 2 different programs. Clearly, what is working for Natalie is also working for Hetrick today. Now, Natalie told us that they figured some things out during practice last night. They've got his machine running well. It's obviously working for Hetrick also, and he's trying to find a line to get around. And remember, Wienen has won 3 of the first 4 races this year, so Natalie pulling away from him right now. That is a serious bunch of confidence and momentum for the champion, and Hetrick is trying to feel that same feeling as well by getting around the Yamaha rider and continues to apply the pressure. Now trying to go from outside to inside, but this left-hand side works too well. Hetrick has to stick with it. Now trying to duck and find a different line in the whoops. Nice job by Upperman and Ford to keep these two in sight. And this is the situation that Wienen has to manage. He has had no trouble winning races early in the year, the last couple of seasons. The problem has been, wait a minute, speaking of problems, Hetrick just stalled the machine. And that is going to allow Upperman to get by and will momentarily relieve the pressure, at least, on Wienen. And that is a big shakeup. All the Moto-Works team wanted to go 1-2 in this moto, get the confidence, get the points. And in a 2-moto format, wait a minute, now we have Wienen making a charge on Natalie down the stretch with Upperman right there. And as we were hoping, just like at our last race on the final lap, it could be a Natalie versus Wienen showdown, although the order is reversed. Can Wienen make the move on Natalie in the last lap, just like Natalie tried to do to him at our last race in Illinois? So Wienen, now that he didn't have to deal with that pressure from Hetrick, has really turned it up. Does he have a line picked out? Gonna try an outside entrance into these whoops, carry a little more momentum. It didn't work. Checkered flag is out. Natalie wins. Upperman will take 3rd behind Wienen, and recovering from a mistake is Hetrick for 4th. And the sun now beginning to set on the Ballance Motocross Park, and that's just Moto number 1. We'll be back for Moto 2 next. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by Amsoil. All right, we're going to make some history here in Kentucky. First ever night race. And the Ballance Motocross Park is going to be the host of it. We did have the lights on at basically dusk in Moto number 1, but now it is pitch black darkness. We will see what kind of an effect this has on the machines, the riders, the racing. There's Mark Baldwin making sure his man on the number 20, Josh Upperman, who was 3rd in Moto 1, is dialed in for Moto number 2. Let's go racing. Looks like both of the Moto-Works Can-Am boys battling for the hole shot. And it's going to go to Natalie, the SSI Decals Hole Shot Award. But look at Hetrick down on the inside and already trying to get his teammate. I thought he had the pass made, but Natalie was able to control it around the outside. First rider to challenge them is Nick Denoble on the Honda in 3rd. And then I believe it is Wienen. But after an attempt to go 1-2 in Moto number 1, the Can-Ams are in a perfect spot to do it here in Moto 2. Wienen has gotten around Denoble for 3rd. He's going to have to take them on single-handedly. He could still pull off the overall win today. Remember, 2nd in Moto 1. If you get a 1st in Moto 2, you win the overall. So Natalie, although off to the good start, and you see the trees are behind him, not in front of him, well, figuratively, he is not out of the woods yet. Not only does he have a strong challenge from his teammate, but Wienen would love nothing more than to get around both these boys, take the moto, and overall win. So we have got a fantastic setup under the lights. And you have to wonder what kind of an effect this has on the riders. We've never had a race like this under the lights before. The camera angles don't necessarily do it justice. That corner back there looked pretty dark. But that's from our perspective. I'm not sure if it's an issue for the riders or not. We'll probably only know when the races are over. Either way, it's a really fun concept, and in the summertime heat certainly takes the edge off here in Kentucky. So you got to give credit to the Ballance crew for trying it here at their track. Speaking of trying, Hetrick doing everything he can to keep Natalie under fire. And too early in the season to expect any kind of team orders. If Hetrick can win this moto, he's going to win it. If he can't, Natalie's going to win it unless Upperman or Wienen or someone like that can upset them. But the bottom line is, It's every man for himself this early in the year, whether you're on the same team or not, and you can see just how far out over the edge Hetrick is hanging it to try to get around his teammate. Through the whoops. Both riders not quite able to get that first double as clean as they would like. A little bit further back, we look to have a battle going on here between Thomas Brown on the Yamaha and Upperman on the number 20. Upperman not able to pull his typical superb starts. He's had to work his way up in both motos. He's done a good job doing it. As we resume the battle for the lead, Natalie versus Hetrick. And Natalie's been at this game a long time, multiple championships, won his first one in this tour back in 2005. So that gives you an idea how long he has been at it. Hetrick, meanwhile, his family name is synonymous with youth ATV racing. They are one of the premier outfits as far as building those youth machines. But now Joel has risen all the way through from the youth ranks into the amateurs and now has made himself into one heck of a pro. He's already won overalls. This year he'd like to win a title. So he needs to get around his teammate Natalie. It's anyone's guess how this one's going to turn out as Hetrick tries the inside line again. And by the way, they have pulled clear of Wienen. Wienen must have made a mistake. All three of these riders are running 1 minute 17 lap times, but Wienen just pulled a 1:19 out, and you can see the gap. They were inching away slowly but surely, then one error on the part of the Yamaha man, and it is now a one-on-one duel for the lead. So Wienen is going to have to get desperate down the stretch. He does not want to hand over momentum, confidence, or points in this series. He's got to find a way to get back to the leaders. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by AMSOIL. Welcome back. Stretch run here at the Max's Ballance Motocross National here outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky. John Natalie leads. This rider, Joel Hetrick, is in the number 2 spot, and they are closing in on lap traffic, and that could be Hetrick's last chance to try to make something happen and get around Natalie, take the moto win. Now, Hetrick could have been in contention for the overall win today when we combine the two races that we've run, but he had one mistake in Moto 1. He stalled the machine, and that dropped him back. So now he is playing the spoilers role as far as today's overall is concerned. But there's still time to try to make things happen. They have pulled clear from Chad Wienen, who is in 3rd. So it's a big day for MotoWorks Can-Am. The only question is, what will the order be? And at a track that has a lot of work by one of the greatest of all time in the cross-country tour, Bill Ballance, put into it. One of the greatest of all time in motocross circles, John Natalie, trying to add to his legacy and win another race. And Hetrick back there in 2nd, trying to prevent it from happening. Now, I mentioned Hetrick's family's involvement in youth ATV racing. Certainly Natalie, you cannot question his dedication to it as well, as we watch Wienen and Upperman battling for the 3rd place spot. Natalie's wife, Michelle, one of the fastest pro women's riders we've had out here for quite some time. So she is just as into it as he is, and 2 laps to go for the Iron Man, who appears to have pulled clear of Hetrick. He has broken everyone today. And Wienen, just not the same rider that we saw the last couple of races, now in danger of losing 3rd to Upperman. And Upperman normally starts out up front, but today he proved he can come from behind. And here he is around the outside. I don't think that line's going to work to make the move, but he is definitely letting Wienen know he's back there. Meanwhile, no such worries for Natalie, who's about to take his first overall win of the year. He's got to control it for one more lap. Wienen under serious heat from Upperman, and these are valuable championship points for your series leader. Wienen, he has got to hold off Upperman, who hails from Louisville, Ohio, and here he is around the outside. No doubt Mark Baldwin, who's been putting together whole shot and race winning Hondas in this sport for a long time, is very anxious to see if his rider can work his way around the series points leader Natalie and put it on the box in this moto. That's the last battle left to watch, because Natalie has got it tucked away. And the night national is going to go to the Ironman out of Pennsylvania, who will make up serious ground in the championship. John Natalie goes 1-1 and celebrates with a no-hander and a one-hander for his teammate Hetrick. A banner day for Moto-Works Can-Am. Wienen, you saw they were able to hold off Upperman down the stretch. Great riding still for Upperman. And the fireworks celebration begins here at Ballance Motocross. Great racing in both motos. John Natalie talking to Joel Hetrick. Probably figures, let's run all these races at night. Worked out well for him. Think it worked out well for the fans, too. Like I said, took the edge off of the summertime temps here in the Southeast. Natalie's got himself a trophy and some champagne. Let's hear from him.
Couldn't ask for a better weekend. And before I go any further, I want to thank each and every one of you guys out there, man. We can hear you guys screaming over our bikes. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Rodney Tomlin there handling the microphone duties here with the live crowd. Here's your Can-Am turning points of the race. Wienen momentarily got the lead from Natalie, but Natalie was able to get it back from him. And from there would go on to win Moto 1 and then Moto 2. Grabbed the whole shot and was never headed from that moment on. So those are your Can-Am turning points from Moto 1 and Moto 2. Point standings, Natalie now just 15 points behind Wienen with 5 of 10 rounds complete. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.